To feel really good about launching yourself into teaching guitar for a living, you need to have confidence in your ability in these three areas: as a musician, as a teacher, and as a business operator. But just how good do you have to be at each of these three things to make a real success of teaching guitar for a living? In this video, we'll answer the first question. How good a musician do you have to be to teach guitar? Clearly, you have to be able to play guitar to a reasonable standard for two reasons. First, credibility. Your clients need to see you as an accomplished guitar player, or they won't entrust their tuition or that of their children to you. Secondly, ammunition. You need some guitar playing experience of your own to provide a source of teaching ideas and answers to students' questions. But being an expert guitar player can, believe it or not, be something of a liability when teaching guitar. If you've played guitar for 20 years, performed on stages all over the world, cut albums, written hit songs, and sure, you'll have heaps of credibility. However, you may find yourself really struggling to relate to the guy sitting in front of you who's got 5 thumbs on each hand and is still struggling to figure out why the top string's the one at the bottom. As a novice guitar teacher, you may find yourself easily haunted by the prospect of students turning up who are clearly already better guitar players than you are. But experienced guitar teachers know that the vast majority of people looking for guitar lessons are complete beginners. I would say that if you've been playing guitar 3 years or more, are committed and are making good progress yourself, then you have every chance of being a better guitar teacher for beginners than the majority of people that you might consider to be expert musicians. Interestingly, and perhaps somewhat counterintuitively, I found that people who themselves learn slowly often turn out to be better teachers. I think that's because they're more conscious of the many small details that new students often need help with. These details can be completely invisible to people who learn like greased lightning. Now here's a connected question I expect you may be asking. How good at music theory do I have to be to teach guitar successfully? The guitar is traditionally learnt in a very practical way. Most of us start by strumming a few chords, learning a riff or two, and then gradually build our knowledge from there. But that may not be the most efficient way to learn. And as a guitar teacher, we have to think in terms of efficient learning methods, because after all, that's what we're being paid for. But it is also a common error committed by less experienced guitar teachers to put too much emphasis on the theoretical side of the subject. I've often heard the complaint from guitar students that their teacher made the subject seem too serious or too much like school. Of course, there's a balance to be struck. And knowing just how much theory to mix in with the practical for each individual student at each stage of their development is one of the main skills that guitar teachers have to master. Here is something else that few of those new to the world of teaching guitar may realise. Teaching guitar naturally helps you improve your understanding of music theory. This happens because you begin to spend much more time focused on the subject of music. Whether reviewing a lesson that you've just given or preparing for a lesson that you're about to give, chances are you find yourself approaching the subject of music more analytically than ever before. Your students will ask you questions to which the answer sometimes needs to be, yes, that's a very good question, and one which really needs more time to answer than we've got available today. So we'll make it the subject of next week's lesson. Then you'll be highly motivated to get online before the next lesson and research the answer to the question your student is asking. By the time their next lesson comes along, you'll find yourself a veritable expert on the subject that they've asked about. This can soon become something of a virtuous circle. The more theory you learn, the more confident you become at taking your students into new areas. Then the more varied the questions they ask. The more your own musical research broadens and deepens, the more theory you understand, and so on. Hopefully, this video has helped encourage you to further explore the possibility of teaching guitar for a living. At the teachguitar.com website, you'll find plenty of free help to support you as you prepare to take the plunge into what is a fantastically rewarding career in every sense. You'll find plenty of free articles on all aspects of teaching guitar. Unlimited practical advice is available by email on a one-to-one basis. We're always interested in your progress and want to help you every step of the way. You'll find tips and tricks on how to improve your own musicianship, as well as your teaching and business skills. We even provide specific help with how to start your business focused on teaching nothing but beginners. And for anyone who feels that the gaps in their musical knowledge are just too great, then our sister site, secretguitarteacher.com, will help you plug those gaps rapidly and give you as much one-to-one email support as you need to build your confidence to the level where you can launch yourself into teaching guitar. In our next video, we'll look at the question, how good a teacher do you need to be to make a success of running a guitar tuition business? I look forward to you joining me for that.